Started in a second. All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Monday, August 22nd Cranston City Council meeting. Madam Clerk, will you please take the roll?
Councilwoman Marino.
Present.
Councilwoman Mazzulli.
Here.
Councilwoman Vargas.
Present.
Councilwoman Jermaine. Present. Councilman Donegan.
Present.
Councilman Campiano.
Present.
Councilman Riley. Council Vice President Ferry.
Present.
Council President Paplaskas.
Present. Just note for the record, Councilman Riley is on the way. He's just running a few minutes late. Next up, we have the Pledge of Allegiance. I'm going to ask the Eagle Scouts from Troop 66, Garden City, if they could come up and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I'll put you on the spot. Guys, if you want to come up, you can stand right in the middle here between the two planners and lead us in the pledge. Thank you, Scouts. Next up, I'll entertain a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes of the last meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on the minutes? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilwoman Marino.
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazzulli.
Yes.
Councilwoman Vargas.
Yes.
Councilwoman Jermaine. Yes. Councilman Donegan. Councilman Campiano.
Yes.
Council Vice President Ferry.
Yes.
Council President Paplaskas.
Yes. Next up, we have public acknowledgements and commendations. Troop 66 Garden City achieving the rank of Eagle Scout. Now we'll come down to hand out the citations. Okay, good evening, everyone. Very honored to be here and speak to all of you and hand out citations to 7 Eagle Scouts from Troop 66 Garden City. Now it's a big achievement to obviously make the rank of Eagle. Only 6 scouts or 6% of eligible scouts make it to the rank of Eagle. For those that are in the audience, you have 350 plus requirements to make or get done in your time as a Boy Scout, and you have 21 merit badges that you at least have to earn. So we're certainly really proud of all of your hard work and everything that you've done. Come on up here and then we'll line up right here in the front. We'll hand out citations to the 7 of you. I think you're all here. Now, this is a special group of Eagle Scouts. I told a story at their Eagle Court of Honor a couple of days ago. I'll probably embarrass them again. Back in 2016, Director Garsha reached out to me to come meet with some of these scouts on some advancement. We talked about constitutional rights and voting, and I have a Facebook post from 2016 I want to read. What an awesome evening at the Central Library with Boy Scouts from Troop 66. We discussed constitutional rights and obligations of U.S. citizens. Thank you for asking me to be part of your advancement through ranks of scouting. I look forward to seeing you all at a future council meeting soon when you make the rank of Eagle. So that was July 27th, 2016. They left an impression on me then, and they've certainly left an impression on our city through all of their hard work, their Eagle Scout projects, and all the work that they've done. So let's give them a round of applause. Now we have some citations to hand out. I'll read one of them and then we'll pass them out. It says the Cranston City Council be it known to all that the City Council hereby issues this citation to Troop 66 Garden City in making the rank of National Eagle Scout Boy Scouts of America, the entire council extends its congratulations and very best wishes on this memorable occasion and expresses their hope for his continuing success, good health, and good fortune. So first up, we have Andrew Gosha. Congratulations. Next up, Eric Gosha. Congratulations. Next up, Brian Alvidi. Congratulations. Stephen Caniglia. Nice job. Did you leave some merit badges for the rest of us? It was nice job. Teddy Shackelford. Nick Cobb. Congratulations. Nice work. Last but not least, Spencer Hill. Oh, he's already in college, so we'll hand this to one of you and you can give it to your scoutmaster to get to him. Again, seriously, thank you guys for all your hard work. I know it's not easy, and I know that Eagle packet that you fill out at the end is probably the worst document in the history. So it's just as hard as getting those merit badges. So good work, congratulations, and thank you. Next up, I will turn public acknowledgements and citations over to Councilmember Marino for some softball. Thank you.
Tonight, we have the privilege as the city council, all of us, in celebrating the Cranston West Little League and CLCF Girls 10U softball team. They've had an outstanding season. Not only were they the state champions, but they also placed third in the regionals, and you all deserve a great round of applause. This evening, first, I'd ask for the coaches. I'll call you up first, and then the girls can come up one by one afterwards. Okay, thanks. All right. The citation states that the Cranston City Council be known to all that Cranston City Council hereby issues this citation to Coach John Fontaine of the CWLL CLCF 10U softball team in proud recognition of their hard work and determination in becoming the 2022 Rhode Island State Champions and placing third in the regionals tournament. The entire council extends its congratulations and very best wishes on this memorable occasion and express their hope for continuing success, good health, and good fortune. That's Coach Layla Marcano. Thank you. Coach Paul Okalevich. Thank you. Coach John Graziano. Thank you. And now to the team. First, we'd like to call up Lawson Bastia. Not here. Juliana Borges. Isabella Farina. Angie Field. Julia Fontaine. Olivia Graziano. Aria Koenig. Ella Lamar. Logan Lopes. Isabella Marcano. Alexa Okolevich. Gabriella Rossi. Camden Speck. And last but not least, Haley Stinson. Thank you very much. Thanks. Yep.
Thank you, Councilmember Marino, and thank you to the CLCF girls 10U softball team. Great job by all and congratulations. At this time, I'll let anybody who wants to leave, who doesn't want to stay for the whole meeting, that's here for awards, a couple minutes to filter out. You're more than welcome to stay, but I always give the opportunity. You're welcome. Thank you. Comment for any public comment on docketed items only. So anybody in council chambers that would like to come up and speak on a docketed matter on the agenda, come on up, name and address for the record. Please try and limit your comments to 4 minutes. Thank you.
Undocketed, 19 Hillside Avenue, President Local 1363. We'd just like to ask you to give us support for our contract that's going to come before you tonight. I think it's a fair contract for the city. I think it's fiscally responsible. I think it's a fair contract for the firefighters also. Brings us into the 21st century when it comes to health and safety. And I'd just like to have your support if anybody has any questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'd also like to remind anybody on Zoom that has public comment for docketed matters to please raise your hand now. We'll be with you shortly. Is there anyone else in chambers that would like to come up? Chief, good evening. Name and address for the record, please.
James Warren, 136 Longview Drive, Fire Chief of the City of Cranston, former Eagle Scout also, and a terrible softball player. But I am in here in support of the contract, firefighters contract. I also believe it's very fair and equitable to the city, to the fire union, and to the residents. I know the union made some major concessions for us to help pay for some of the reorganization and the modernization of the fire department. We have been the same for the last 50 years. This change for our restructuring is very important for us. It's going to help us. My side is definitely going to help. And it's also going to help the safety of the firefighters. We're going to have 2 battalion chiefs in the city. There'll always be 2 chiefs at every incident. If there is 2 minor incidents, we will have a chief at each incident. So that's very important to us. We had 4 fires in the last 5 days. Been very, very busy this year for us. I'm very happy with the union made the concessions for management rights. We're going to add a new assistant chief who's going to be in charge of the administrative duties and grant writing. It will free me up to do more long-term planning for the fire department. We had a meeting today about modernizing our the way we report fires, the way we do reports, and our fire prevention bureau. It's going to be a big step forward for us. So hopefully that you support this contract tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Anyone else in chambers for docketed matters only? Okay, anyone online with their hand raised for public comment?
No, Shannon?
Shannon, good evening. Name and address for the record, and this is for docketed items at this time.
I apologize. I thought you were getting ready to go undocumented. I will wait.
Thank you. Anyone else online for docketed items?
No public comment?
At this time, I will close public comment for docketed matters. Thank you all. Moving on to resolutions. I see none on the agenda. Moving on to report of committees. Safety Services and Licensing Committee Chair, Councilwoman Nicole Renzulli. Looks like you have one agenda item. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Tonight we have one agenda item. It's a resolution allowing the police department of the city of Cranston to collaborate with non-adjacent Rhode Island municipalities and police departments through a statewide mutual aid agreement. This was sponsored by Councilman Riley, and I believe I was asked to add to that, be added as a sponsor as well. But this basically gives our police department the ability to pick up details within other cities through a mutual aid agreement, which helps other cities and also brings in money to the city of Cranston. This passed in committee. I urge passage tonight. I don't know if there's any questions, if there's representation that we could ask tonight, but I think all the questions were kind of solved out in committee.
Thank you, Chair. I'll entertain a motion on this resolution.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Councilmember Marino.
Sure, I'd like to be added as a co-sponsor. Thank you.
Excellent. Would anyone else like to be added? Councilmember, I think everybody wants to be added. Madam Clerk, you can put everybody on. Thank you. Any other discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilwoman Marino?
Yes.
Councilwoman Renzulli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Vargas? Councilwoman Jermaine?
Yes.
Councilman Donegan?
Yes.
Councilman Campiano?
Yes.
Councilman Riley?
Yes.
Council Vice President Ferry?
Yes.
Council President Kaplan?
Yes. Thank you, Chair. Moving on to the Finance Committee. We have Council Vice President Robert Ferry, Chair. Councilman, the floor is yours.
Thank you. We have 5 items on the Finance Committee tonight. First is 7-2201 ordinance ratifying the school committee's collective bargaining agreement with the Rhode Island Council 94 AFSCME, AFL-CIO, Cranston Public School Employees Local 2044. This contract is for July 21st, 2021 through July 30th, 2024. May I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilwoman Marino? Councilwoman Renzulli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Vargas? Councilwoman Jermaine?
Yes.
Councilman Donegan?
Yes.
Councilman Campiano?
Yes.
Councilman Riley?
Yes.
Council Vice President Ferry?
Yes.
Council President Kaplan?
Yes.
Sorry about that. I thought I was running the meeting. Second, we have 7-22-02 ordinance ratifying the IAFF International Association of Firefighters Contract Local 1363 dated July 1st, 2022 through July 30th, 2025. This passed in committee. I urge passage tonight.
Motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on 7-2202. To the administration, do you have anything to add on this contract?
Good evening, everyone. From the administration, Mr. Perillo is here to answer any specific questions about the contract, but I just have to say overall, it was a lengthy negotiation with the gentlemen, the ladies of the firefighters. Couldn't tell you how grateful we are, how professional they were. We pivoted. As you might know, the timing of the negotiations were basically before and then after the budget presentation, and things changed in the city, or were discovered in the city to be a bit different financially. The firefighters responded, and couldn't thank them enough. They put the city first and everyone else second. And I just have to say that we couldn't be more proud to have this group, to have a bunch of professionals in that union, and we couldn't be more grateful for them. So appreciation, and have to say that it was a tremendous experience working with such a professional organization, and thank them.
Thank you, Director. We have a motion to approve and a second on the floor. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilwoman Marino,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazzulli,
Yes.
Councilwoman Vargas.
Yes.
Councilwoman Jermaine,
Yes.
Councilman Donegan.
Yes.
Councilman Campiano,
Yes.
Councilman Riley,
Yes.
Council Vice President Ferry,
Yes.
Council President Paplaskas.
Yes.
Okay. Next, we have the resolution authorizing real estate tax abatements. This passed in committee. I urge passage tonight.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion on the real estate tax abatements.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilwoman Marino,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazzulli,
Yes.
Councilwoman Vargas.
Yes.
Councilwoman Jermaine,
Yes.
Councilman Donegan, Councilman Campiano,
Yes.
Councilman Riley,
Yes.
Council Vice President Ferry.
Yes.
Council President Paplaskas.
Yes.
Next, we have a resolution authorizing tangible tax abatements. This passed in committee. I urge passage tonight.
Entertain a motion on the tax abatements. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilwoman Marino,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazzulli,
Yes.
Councilwoman Vargas.
Yes.
Councilwoman Jermaine,
Yes.
Councilman Donegan, Councilman Campiano,
Yes.
Councilman Riley, Council Vice President Ferry.
Yes.
Council President Paplaskas.
Yes.
And last for finance, we have interest waiver approvals. These passed in committee. I urge passage tonight.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on the waiver approvals. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilwoman Marino,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazzulli,
No.
Councilwoman Vargas, Councilwoman Jermaine,
Yes.
Councilman Donegan, Councilman Campiano,
Yes.
Councilman Riley,
Yes.
Council Vice President Ferry.
Yes.
Council President Paplaskas.
Yes, that concludes the business of the Finance Committee. Thank you, Vice President Ferry. Moving on to the Claims Committee, Councilman John Donegan, Chair.
Thank you, Council President. The items regarding the Claims Committee are here for informational purposes only.
Thank you very much, Councilman Donegan. Moving on to public comment for undocketed items. At this time, we will open up public comment in chambers for undocketed matters. Name and address for the record, please, and please try and limit your comments to 4 minutes. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Sheila Ressiger. I live at 50 Malvern Avenue, which is a few blocks from Hall Manor on Warwick Avenue in Edgewood. I sent you written comments on Friday, and I intended to include this photo of Hall Manor, but the contact form would not accept it. So if you want to contact me via email, I can send you the photo. As you probably know, Hall Manor is a public subsidized housing unit for Cranstonians age 62 and over, and or those handicapped or disabled. This photo shows you wireless transmission facilities on the roof. They're called WTFs. And these WTFs emit radio frequency radiation, which is harmful to everyone, but especially to the elderly and people with health issues. The WTFs not only jeopardize the health of the residents, but also present a fire hazard. The elderly and disabled living there are not afforded a choice to avoid this radiation coming from the installation. If they're suffering health symptoms, they would be unaware that their symptoms could be caused by this radiation. Who decided to put these WTFs on the roof of Hall Manor? In what way was it intended to benefit the residents? Is anyone monitoring for health effects? The general public is oblivious to the harms of this radiation. It's up to conscientious public officials such as yourselves to act to protect the vulnerable, which really includes all of us. This is your responsibility under the US and Rhode Island constitutions. In my written comments, I provided further reading for municipal leaders on understanding the wireless radiation issue. I also provided a link to information on the types of health effects residents can suffer when antennas are placed on the roof of their building, as well as information about what happens when a cell tower on a roof catches fire. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Thank you very much. To those on Zoom, please raise your hand. We'll be with you shortly for public comment. Any other public comment for undocketed matters? Good evening. Name and address for the record in 4 minutes. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Rachel Ware. I live at 15 Connecticut Street. I was here last month asking for some help here from the council, and I have heard from nobody from the email that I followed up from my speech. I did call you, sir, and I did not receive a phone call back. But another council person did actually call me back and recommended that I keep talking and trying to get assistance. This is a slightly different matter, as last time I explained how my fiance's parental rights were trampled on and taken away illegally back in 2019, something that we've been asking to have addressed so other family members, or actually not other family members, other families and other children aren't affected from what I've seen happen to my own stepdaughter. I'm here because we actually put a claim in with the city, and it has now been 4 weeks. We put it in on July 25th, about 1:38 in the afternoon, and we also hand delivered one to the mayor's office. And I'm trying to find out, how long does it take for the council or the claims committee to at least reach out and say, hey, I've gotten this, I hear you. Actually, I hear you is something that would be great to actually be recognized as a citizen and a resident here in Cranston, that someone actually is hearing the story and hearing the issues that we're having, because all we're trying to do is address it, prevent it from happening, and hold those accountable for breaking the Constitution and the rights that happened to myself, to my fiance, and most importantly, the child involved in this. It may seem, actually it's muddy. It's not an easy story, but I'm tired of being stonewalled, and I'm tired of my elected officials going like this and not even trying to address it, not even reaching out and saying, I got your email, I don't know what to do, but you need to keep, coming and trying to get help. So I'm here in the public forum asking for help. I'm asking, how do I go about this? Because this is an issue and it's not going to go away until we can have some type of resolution by having a conversation. I don't think that that is unfair of me to ask of my elected officials, especially it being an election year. I would think that people would want to address parental rights, constitutional rights, and a family that's been affected since 2019 here in Cranston. I myself have a no trespass order on me in the Briggs building in my stepdaughter's school, all because I was present trying to bring sexually explicit videos filmed in the school and a suicide note written in the school. Like, these are serious matters that need to be addressed, and I am angry and I'm upset. People need to be aware of what's going on. The same school that my stepdaughter goes to, the janitor was let go after 5 years because he had child porn charges against him, and you want to know why parents are upset. This is a broader issue that needs to be addressed here in the city of Cranston, and all we're asking is for someone to actually listen and not shut us down. Prove me wrong. I got documents. Prove us wrong. So I'm asking anybody here to respond to me. What are my next steps? How long do I wait to hear from the city? What do I do?
Thank you. Does that conclude your public comment?
It does.
Thank you very much. Anybody else for undocketed matters for public comment? Good evening, sir. Name and address for the record in 4 minutes.
Josh Mello, 15 Connecticut. And I'm here to continue to demand accountability and investigation, a proper open investigation into the occurrences of 2019 at George Peters Elementary. I'm about to read you from the police report. Tell me if some of this makes sense. In jest, the principal was new to the school and having issues previously. She had a Cranston police officer on the scene instead of a school resource officer. I went to pick up my daughter during dismissal, and here is where it gets interesting. Okay. During dismissal, I was speaking with the principal, identified as Jeanette Antonelli. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I apologize. I just want to keep my time. All right, I apologize. Interrupted. Oh, excuse me. All right. The principal was having issues with a male who needed my assistance. I entered the office and saw the principal arguing with a male later identified as Joshua Mello. I asked them what was going on. Joshua stated that it was none of my business, which is accurate. He said that he wasn't going to talk to me, also accurate, because I didn't have to. Anyway, he advised him that he was not leaving and as though I requested him to. I continued to listen to the principal and Josh's conversation regarding him being on an emergency care card, and he was unable to take his daughter without permission by her mother, blank. The principal advised Joshua that he did not have permission to leave with his daughter until she made a few phone calls. Joshua stated that he couldn't tell him what to do with his daughter and that he was leaving, whether he liked it or not, and stormed out of the office. That's accurate. The principal advised me that he was not on an emergency care card and he was not able to leave with his daughter, blank. And the principal told me to stop him from leaving. Due to his aggressive and confrontational behavior, he called dispatch, where the whole school was overwhelmed. So with that, I was illegally arrested and assaulted in front of my daughter for legally taking my daughter away from me. Dismissal without any court authorized documents, nothing. Come to find out, the emergency care card was doctored and edited, and I have a mountain of subpoenaed evidence from the school department, including the emergency care card in question. As well as the Aspen log, which showed what it was previously, stating, Joshua Mello, how ironic. And the date it was modified and what it was modified to. And it just so coincides with all of this other information. So therefore, I had a horrible and nightmare situation that came upon me, court, family court, and a bunch of BS, including no trespass orders at my daughter's school, once again, for an illegal arrest, for illegal activity placed on me at my daughter's school for trying to pick her up legally, justified. She's my biological kid. And I had a principal with zero authority tell me no and use the law enforcement to extend her hand. My attorney at the time wrote to the school's attorney because of this horrendous mess, and I will put this on record as well. I write on behalf of Josh Mello, parent of blank Mello, a student of George Peters Elementary in Cranston. I understand that Cranston Public Schools is inhibiting Mr. Mello's ability to engage in education, denying him physical access to these. Yes, sir. Denying him physical access and remote access to all electronic records. Mr. Mello's attempts to rectify this issue with the school officials has been repeatedly met with seemingly indifference and explicit deference by you. And I would like to respectfully ask in our capacities as counsel to the parties, I doubt that you and I are in a better position to facilitate a resolution, but perhaps it may take legal mind to persuade the necessary parties to devote an extremely involved father who enjoys joint custody with his child and should have full access to the school records, Exhibit A, a family court document of joint custody. By the way of background, on July 19th, the mother enrolled himself in the school, while the information indicated Mr. and Mello, Mr. and Mrs. Blank had shared a parenting agreement, and according to the enrollment form, to spend child's equal time with both parents. During the first week, Mr. Mello attended an open house. He spoke to the child's teacher, who agreed to keep a separate folder for later on. Mr. Mello picked up the child Friday, September 6th. It was the first such occasion. Mr. Mello arrived at the end of the day and saw the principal, Jenna Antonelli, and asked about the dismissal process. Miss Antonelli stopped and indicated he was not allowed to leave. Naturally, back with Mr. Mello and Mr. Antonelli.
Sir, I gave you a couple extra minutes if you can wrap it up.
Yes, sir, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I'll try to do my best. I'm just trying to get this on record. Thank you very much. She summoned an officer. Anyway, Mrs. Mental indicated his name didn't appear on an emergency gift card and therefore allowed him to refuse to leave with his daughter. Meanwhile, the child remained in custody That's the most important part at this point, because I do know I need to leave because there is some important documents, and I'll come back and read it again, but it's very important that this body understands that I was restricted and from constitutional rights, parental rights, and they have not only been severely trampled, but they have been violated. And I have gone through every channel legally, including this one. We still have no resolution or no word. Please investigate Cranston.
Thank you. Anybody else in chambers for docketed matters? Come on up, name and address in 4 minutes. On the undocketed matters.
Douglas Doe, 178 Lippert Avenue. Good evening. In response to the city solicitor's comments to the finance committee earlier, there is nothing in the November 2020 net metering contract that requires the use of the Natick project. Appendix A of the contract identifies Natick as one of the, quote, potential renewable energy facilities. Another is Main Street Solar in Hopkinton. And quoting, and or any one or more other renewable energy facilities that they may have. Revity's RFP response was 4 potential projects, including Natick Ave. The 2022 Smithfield Net Metering Consultants Report lists 4 Revity projects, including 2 in West Greenwich, totaling 59.2 megawatts. You can't miss the massive clear cut along 95 between exits 5 and 6. So where is our alternative site? Why are we stuck with Natick? Revity spokesman mentioned to the council that city officials wanted the project to be in the city, but that doesn't make any sense. The RFP was issued after city council members and the mayor sponsored the ordinance that banned these projects in residential neighborhoods, who advocated a proposal in direct violation of city policy. They should come forward and explain themselves. But I suspect he's rather busy running for Congress. But why Natick? A key point is that lenders to solar developers require a credit-worthy entity for net metering agreements. That's Cranston. Natick Solar needs Cranston, but Cranston does not need Natick Solar, since Revity's RFP proposal lists 4 other possible projects. A simple way to look at net metering contracts is think of a mortgage. The bank wants to see your W-2s, your tax returns, your employment history to make sure you can pay the mortgage. The net metering contract is the solar developer's tax return and W-2. The developer arranges the financing for the construction loan, just as car dealers arrange financing so you can buy that new car. But they aren't covering the loan. The dirty little secret that no one talks about is Rhode Island taxpayers are paying to build these massive solar installations. Under Revity's RFP proposal, Cranston would pay Revity about $25 million over 25 years. The actual contract is about double that. The contract lists the maximum output at 15.75 million kilowatt hours. Just the first year payment to Revity would be about $1.7 million. That should more than cover the $100,000 donation they like to talk about. These contracts are just your classic sales pitch you've heard from car dealers and the guy selling steak knives and late night TV. It's just a bigger price tag. It's long time past for the council, the Providence Journal, the Boston Globe, and others to take the that old advice and follow the money. Everyone is gazing at the savings with little or no understanding of the underlying financial arrangements. That has to end. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in chambers for docketed matters or undocketed matters? Come on up. Good evening. Name and address for the record, please. Thank
Good
you.
evening. My name is Dorothy McDonough. My address is 23 Edge Street, Cranston. I'm here tonight because as I voiced at the last meeting, I have some serious concerns about traffic impact for the new proposed Legion Pub project. With the help of the planning department, I was able to locate the traffic impact study. And I have to be honest with you that there were 2 glaring concerns that I had in regards to it. The first one is that when they talked about the project area, Dew Temple School is not even mentioned. Dew Temple School is in the project area. Cranston East was mentioned, but not Do Temple School. So right off the top, that's a problem. The next issue is in terms of the data that was utilized. For the traffic data that was utilized was 2018 data from the Rhode Island Department of Transportation. The reason that was used is because there could be no accurate data because the bridge was closed when the study was completed. My question to you is, knowing this, whether you knew it before or you know it now, would you now require, which is certainly possible, the developer to do a new study with current data that's accurate? Thank you very much for your time, and I hope that you'll think about what I'm suggesting.
Thank you very much. Anyone else for in chambers? Come on up. You don't have to live in Cranston. Just need your
Okay.
name and address for the record.
All right, my name is Paul Rihanna Jr. and I live at 51 Salmon Street in Providence. When I was walking in this door, I seen a sign that's disgusting. It said mask optional if vaccinated. The new CDC guidance specifically states vaccinated and unvaccinated are now equal. If vaccinated have to wear a mask, unvaccinated have to wear a mask, it should be equal. It shouldn't discriminate against one group of people, meaning the discrimination that's going against the unvaccinated. That's all I'm gonna say because I'm pretty sure most of you people know my stance already here, but that's discrimination. I know we're not a protected class yet, but it's coming soon and you know, that should be looked at and that sign should be taken down because I'm pretty sure a lot of people here don't have to disclose their vaccination status, but I'm pretty sure not everyone in here is vaccinated. I know I'm not, but everyone probably knows that by now. But that's discrimination on the highest levels. Do you ask people what nationality they are when they walk in here? Or if you're this nationality, wear a mask? It's not fair and it's not right and it's discriminatory on all levels. That's all I'm gonna say. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else in chambers for public comment? Seeing none, we'll go to Zoom. If you're on Zoom, please raise your hand.
Shannon,
Good evening, Shannon. Name and address for the record and try and limit your comments to 4 minutes. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. My name is Shannon Whithorage. I live at 285 Legion Way. I spoke with Councilman Ferry this morning. He invited me to attend tonight. My family is experiencing some negative effects of recurring violations of city ordinances from residents on either side of us at 279 Legion and 289 Legion. The police have been notified on many occasions over the years, and an officer finally advised me to come before the council. It's clear that these people will not comply on their own, and the police are doing their best. We've reported many noise violations from both of these homes. The most recent were August 19 into August 20. We had to call the police on both individuals. The person owning 279 Legion Way has many after-hour parties where we've had to install a fence to protect our cars. We have cameras, and recently on July the 30th at 2:47 a.m., friends attending his house tried to get into my house, and I am thankful my husband was there. The residents at 289 Legion Way repeatedly have loud parties in the streets. They do not keep their property up. They've had the fire department there more than once because they're not supposed to burn, and they would light it back up right after the firemen left. There was a party last year where I happened to be the one reporting the noise disturbance, but our neighbors 2 houses down on Capital experienced them screaming that they were going to burn down the house of whoever called the cops. And my neighbor said his wife reported that to the police. I'm here to ask for enforcement of the city ordinances, a protection that the city is supposed to give all citizens. I'm hoping that we can stop it now before it gets worse. More importantly, when we are away, I have an adult son with Asperger's, and we do fear for him should either one of these parties decide to act out, especially on upcoming holidays. I would appreciate your assistance in putting this on the safety record for the next meeting, and I will do everything in my power to attend. Thank you very much for your time, and I'm praying for your assistance.
Thank you. Anybody else on Zoom with their hand up?
Pauline DeRosa.
Good
Hello.
evening. Good evening, Mr. Rosa. Name and address for the record, and you have
My-
4 minutes. Thank you.
My name is Pauline DeRosa. I live at 97 Cypress Drive. As the city is aware, there is the potential for a Costco to be developed in the area behind the Shaw's Market in Chapel View or in the former Citizens Bank building at 100 Saconaset Crossroads. This is overdevelopment at its worst, considering that Topgolf will be completed sometime in 2023. I won't belabor the point, but you all know what traffic impact this will have on the Garden City neighborhood and surrounding communities. I implore all committees and council members to give this potential development serious consideration and deliberation. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else on Zoom with their hand up?
I see no public comment.
Okay, at this time, I will close public comment. Thank you. Moving on to the next section of the docket, the election and or appointment of city officials. First up, we have the Juvenile Hearing Board, the reappointment of Judith Abate for a term ending December 1st, 2022.
Motion to approve?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, is that date wrong? Is there a Scrivener's error? Okay, we'll check on that date. It's obviously not December 1st, 2022. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilwoman Marino,
Yes.
Councilwoman Renzulli,
Yes.
Councilwoman Vargas.
Yes.
Councilwoman Jermaine,
Yes.
Councilman Donegan, Councilman Campiano,
Yes.
Councilman Riley,
Yes.
Council Vice President Ferry,
Yes.
Council President Paplas.
Yes. Next up, we have the Arts Commission reappointment of Linda Peterson for a term ending August 22nd, 2025. Entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilwoman Marino,
Yes.
Councilwoman Renzulli,
Yes.
Councilwoman Vargas.
Yes.
Councilwoman Jermaine.
Yes.
Councilman Donegan, Councilman Campiano,
Yes.
Councilman Riley,
Yes.
Council Vice President Ferry.
Yes.
Council President Paplas.
Yes, thank you to Judy and Linda for continuing to serve on those commissions. Moving on to report of city officers, we have none. Going on to executive communications, we have the legal fees report. Does anybody have any questions on the legal fees report? Seeing none, move on. Next up, we have, actually, I'll let the administration introduce this. This is a continued in service.
It's a pleasure to request that you approve the continuation of service for 1 year for Assistant Chief Dan Masenko. He has obtained all necessary qualifications to do so. He's been a tremendous asset of the fire department, and we certainly welcome him for the next year if we're given your approval. Please, thank you.
Thank you, Director. I'll entertain a motion to continue in service, Assistant Chief Daniel Marchenko.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilwoman Marino,
Yes.
Councilwoman Renzulli,
Yes.
Councilwoman Vargas.
Yes.
Councilwoman Jermaine,
Yes.
Councilman Donegan,
Yes.
Councilman Campiano,
Yes.
Councilman Riley,
Yes.
Council Vice President Ferry,
Yes.
Council President Paplas.
Yes, thank you all. Director, does that conclude executive communications? Yeah, next we'll go on to Council President Communications. Just want to say that the Knightsville Gazebo Park Revitalization has begun. I know some of you have probably driven by and seen the old gazebo has come down. Plans are in the works for a new ADA compliant gazebo. Really looking forward to what the future holds for that park. It's been a long time coming. Certainly thank the administration for their help in it and my colleagues on the council. It goes back 3-4 years through bipartisan effort. We passed zoning to rezone the space behind it as open space, and also to pass a resolution to start the idea of going after the grant money into building that park. So certainly want to thank my colleagues, the administration, and really look forward to where that's going. I know we usually do a neighborhood Christmas tree lighting there. I'll figure out an alternative spot. We'll still certainly do something and bring Santa into the neighborhood for everyone at the time. Director Moretti, do you have anything to add to that, or just stay tuned? I covered it well. Thank you. Thank you, Director. Okay, moving on to council member communications. Councilwoman Vargas, you're first up with an update on the Oakland Cemetery.
Thank you, Council President. I believe the reason why this is on there is just to follow up on the cemetery and the court hearings that were possibly taken, that took action or heard, actually, I should say, if they did. Pretty much just a follow-up. Did they end up going to Superior Court and then municipal as well?
So I spoke with Solicitor Malay this afternoon with regard to this. The attorney who's representing the cemetery came down with COVID. He was supposed to go to Superior Court to have a new trustee appointed. Bank of America is the trustee. Bank of America has not done anything. The key here is to get the trustee replaced. There is a pending motion before the court to have that done. The only reason why my understanding is that it hasn't been done is because of the sickness of Mr. McCormick, who was the attorney for the cemetery. Having said that, I believe that the court is going to grant that. A new trustee is going to be appointed. There is considerable money in a trust to maintain the cemetery. Why Bank of America hasn't done it, nobody knows, but we're very confident once the new trustee is appointed that you're going to see a lot of action taking place. I would venture a guess at this point that a month from now, the trustee will probably have been appointed and will be able to take charge and get things done. That's where we stand right now.
Thank you. Is there a way to actually know what the dollar amount on the lien is that the city will be receiving once that trustee has been established?
We can get that. Yeah, sure. We can, absolutely.
Thank you. And then what about in terms of the municipal court? Because I know it's being heard again, Superior, and then here within the city as well. And that's been going on since 2019.
I would have to get back to you on that. I don't know what the next date is on the municipal court matter. I do know when I was there on an unrelated matter that it had been scheduled, that this may have been like 3 weeks to a month ago, and then it was given a new date. And given the fact that this attorney came down with COVID, it's probably reasonable to assume that the municipal court date was probably given another date. But in all honesty, the Superior Court proceeding is the one that really matters. I mean, the municipal court is important, but not nearly as important as what's being done in Superior Court. But I'll find out. I'll find out for you when it's scheduled.
No, I appreciate it. I mean, the municipal court component for a safety component, right? There's so much as manholes missing, all that information. I mean, all those things come into play, I should say. If you happen to have somebody, walk in, slip into that.
Yeah.
I mean, it becomes private property at that point. I'm going to keep this on there again for until next month and continue to get an update, if possible, for the next meeting. If we can get a dollar amount as to how much the city would be getting, or in terms of the lien, and an update possibly on both.
Okay, if I find out ahead of time, I will
absolutely.
obviously let you know, and
Yeah.
I'll stay on it.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Member Vargas. Council Member Marino, you're up next. Discussion on the Park Place Theater. Floor is yours.
Thank you, Council President. This agenda item has been up previously. It's the issue of the Park Place Theater and the affiliates agreement with the city of Cranston to use the city parking lot and the relevant insurance policies. I understand, Solicitor Radecchia, that you are just kind of walking into this, but we do need an answer to this question. So more factual information, I understand, is needed, because the concern here is we all wish the Park Place Theater great success. This doesn't have to do with their success. The issue at hand is with respect to potential liability exposure to the city with the use of the parking lot that goes beyond just the Park Place Theater, but also includes the other business entities that are there.
And Councilwoman Marino summarized that very well. I am sort of getting my feet wet with this issue. I do recall when Park Place, thinking of Monopoly, when Park Cinema came in and obtained their licenses. It's a little bit of an unusual situation in that where the city is allowing them to use the parking lot. They're not tenants per se, but the concern of the city's potential risk here is well taken. And clearly that needs to be addressed. We have taken steps to address it. However, what I'm not sure of at this point is the intimate details, because there's a little bit of confusion as to whether or not there are subsidiary businesses that perhaps fall under the umbrella of the Park Cinema. If that's the case, it would the legal concerns would be different. But your point is well taken. And what I will do is I'm going to take this under my wing, so to speak. I did speak with Attorney Rawson, Solicitor Rawson today about it. We spoke about, I don't want to get into too much legal detail here, but we did mention things such as indemnification and having the city named as a named insured for the city's total protection. I just need to work out the details of that. So I intend to do that between now and the next Safety Services meeting. And my suggestion, I'll have to talk to Council President and Rose, obviously, is depending on how that plays out, it may require an executive session, but it may be something that does not. I just don't know at this point. But by the next time we meet, I should have all those answers and everything should be lined up to your satisfaction.
Thank you. And Attorney Videcchia, keep Councilwoman Renzulli in the loop on that too. As the Chair of Safety Services, I have graciously given up the reins of that committee. Excellent. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Councilmember Marino. Council Chair of Safety Services, Nicole Renzulli.
Am I allowed to just respond to any of this?
Sure, if it's, yeah, if
Okay.
it's on topic.
So
absolutely.
as far as I understand, the real estate is owned by the Park Theater Realty LLC, and all the businesses within are actually one business operated by Historic Park Theater LLC. So there are not renters within the Park Theater. They're not affiliates. It's like the city of Cranston with different departments. They just named them different things: the Park Place Cafe, the Comedy Park, the Park Theater, the Park Supper Club. They're not different businesses, so they all should fall under the insurance, which Rose does have. If that clears anything up. I know that all their licenses are all fine, so I'm a little bit confused as to why this keeps coming up. I don't know if it's a question of, did we think that they are different businesses, but they're not. It's all one business with different small names. So I just wanted to note that information.
It's actually, the reason why it keeps coming up is because all we need is a simple answer from legal to the issue, that the city is properly indemnified because all of the businesses, however it happens to be structured, are listing us. And I don't want to get into any more legal stuff than that. And we have yet to have that legal discussion with those facts. If we did, then exactly to your point, this wouldn't keep coming up.
I will say this, this should not take long for me to do. I'll give this priority and I'll contact Mr., is it Quinlan? His last name, Jeff Quinlan. I'm not sure if he's represented by counsel. If he is, I'll speak with his lawyer, but it seems like it should be something that I can clear up without too much drama. But we do want to be sure. It is a little slightly confusing because I noticed on the license that there are 4 other, for lack of a better term, entities that are operating as part and parcel of Park. So I just want to be comfortable. I just want to clarify that. I want to remove all doubt. We're protecting the city here. So I definitely want to err on the side of caution, but I will give this priority and I don't expect that this will take very long.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all. Okay, moving on, Councilwoman Germain, you have 4 items on here for council member communications.
Thank you, Council President. This 4 item, it's just I need some information. So I would like to have an update because as this keep coming up, I have a resident in the area, Akidok and Interval ward, and that asked, email me asking, hey, when the work's gonna be started. So that's why I would like to have an update because we know we had an ordinance that was passed. Do we have a timeline? So I would like to know, that's why I would like to know about today.
Director Moretti, the floor is yours for updates on these items.
Sure, thank you. On that particular issue, the new Public Works Director has it on his desk. It has been, I think it was passed last month or fairly recently. It hasn't lost sight of it. This is their busiest time of year. They're significantly short-staffed going through transition. He knows he needs to address, he doesn't have an exact timeline. The gentleman is working extraordinary hours, extraordinary effort. And frankly, we don't want to tip him a little bit too far. He knows his responsibilities. He does caution, and also speak with Mr. Igo, that to be careful about any further traffic safety devices that are going to cost money to the city because remaining in approval is approximately $150,000 for such things. And this is a project for $40,000. So he was thinking it might even be a good idea to see whatever ordinances this council may want to be passing in the next year or so. Otherwise, frankly, they'll be using up those funds and then we won't have any funds remaining for those authorities. Just to mention it, but it's on his desk. And of the 150, this would be about $40,000. And any of these projects can cost anywhere probably between 20 and 100,000 a piece. So just, he wanted me to pass that along.
Thank you. I have other update also on the second item. It's Eden Park and Akidok also. And I know when the intersection of Akidok and Eden Park. So, you know, you have to go during school hours, you should go only northerly. And there's nothing there to let people know it's one way. So that's, I have resident call out, say, what happened? That's an ordinance that passed 2, 3 months, 4 months ago. So you don't see any communication. And I see in other places where you have this one way during school hours, you have the communication written on a sign that say, okay, between hours like 8 to 5 or 8 to 9, you do not enter, for example. We do not have that. So that's why I would like to ask the question, why we do not have it, and if we have a timeline to have it.
I was told that there is a sign that's been up accordance to ordinance that has been put up. So I guess we'll have to verify. You're saying no in this, our Public Works Department says that the sign is up. So I'll find that out if it's up or not.
So anyone who drive from, whether you drive from Akidok to go to Eden Park, or from like from Colonial to get into Akidok to go to, you do not see anything. So I went to see, because the resident called me particularly, and there's nothing there. And the problem, because we passed this ordinance to solve a problem, and the problem's still there.
I will make sure that they're adhering to the ordinance. As you're saying, we'll verify that. If not, we'll be sure to put the sign up if it's not indicating that.
Okay. So all of this for you. I'm continued, President. I can continue?
The floor is yours.
Okay, all right.
I just
So
had a question on some of these. If we can satisfy offline, did you want to wait a month, or is it okay if we contact the council people directly if the answers are satisfied? Or do you have to wait another month? I was just curious what the
No,
protocol would be.
if you're waiting on, if council person is waiting on an update, I think
It would be fast.
contact
Okay.
anytime.
Okay, thank you.
Council member, I'll just jump in real quick on your last point. I know some of the school zones, Director Moretti in my ward, the signs have been up for the one way, and it'll have an hour like in between that will say do not enter, and then that will say, this is just the school times. So that might be what's missing there. Saying when the one way is.
So
in
it's
effect.
saying
Yeah, it
one
might
way,
be
but
like
not
8 to 9
indicating the
and
time.
2 to 3 or something like that. There's some around Stonehill and
Okay.
Cranston West.
Happy to check it.
Thank you.
thank you. Okay, my other point is so I was asked by 2 or 3 residents about an issue at the intersection of Reservoir Ave and Norfolk Street. We know Norfolk became a 2-ways. Now, the problem is when you are at the intersection, there is no signage for people to know you can turn, because it's 2 ways. If you are like you are in Reservoir, you want to turn left, there is really no signage. And also people stay there. People want to cross, to go like south or north. You can't, because there is no direction, no communication in that particular intersection. So Reservoir and Norfolk. So that's why I would like to know, do I need to propose an ordinance, or is it feasible to have that? Because that's something I would think that would be there, but that was brought to me. And I would like to know if it's feasible to have that communication when someone, like whether you are going on north or south, you do not block this intersection.
So it's just, you're saying, so the cars, if they're at the stoplight, they're
Yeah.
backed up and they're blocking
Yeah.
the intersection.
And it's a 2-way. So you go like north, south, but cars that goes through Reservoir, and then it's just an issue there.
I could ask our traffic people if it's a Reservoir Avenue, that's a state road, I believe. I can inquire. Alternatively, I'm not sure if one of the attorneys would know with ordinances, is there such a thing as a do not block intersection ordinance that can be passed? I don't know the answer.
That's why I put this here. I don't know.
Maybe if one of the attorneys can answer that. But as to the state road, we can inquire. I know it's a big intersection and it's a tough area.
It's very, very, it's just across CVS. And you know,
It's tricky.
It's tricky, very tricky.
I will follow up with our traffic engineer. We'll follow if need be, if it's relevant relative to the state, we'll follow up there to see if they could do something. Otherwise, if there's any one of our attorneys that might be answer the question, if there would be, to answer your other question, if an ordinance is
Yeah.
required, I don't know the answer.
That's
to
what
that.
I need to know. Okay. For my last question is a report. I would like to have the cost of, we know we install the traffic actuated signal the intersection Park and Grace. Often the question come up, it costs a lot of money, so I would love to have this report, how much it costs to install this traffic at the park.
Sure, this one we're gonna have to get back to you. Mr. Igo took a crack at trying to ascertain those costs. The accounting system doesn't break it out by that particular project. So it's finding when it happened, the classification within the book. So he has a little bit of digging to do to find the answer to that. We'll be happy to find that out. It's ascertainable, but it wasn't readily available. Have to block out a little bit of time to get the answer, but he'd be happy to do.
Yeah, because what I want, because I bring this up because in my ward, particularly the speeding issue is big, and people keep asking and you keep asking, you need this, you need this sign here, you need this sign that, you know, and the speeding is a really, really big issue. So I would like to know when we have those requests, are they feasible or not, and all the amount of money we can spend to ensure safety. Is it you know, I don't think any money can outweigh the safety of people, but I need not to have this information. So thank you.
I have to mention that speeding complaints are the #1 single complaint within the police department. And I could tell you in the year and a half that I've been in my job, there's been various traffic studies on various streets. And there has not been one study that determined that there's any excessive speeding occurring once these traffic studies are done. There was one recently done, I think it was Ocean Avenue or Chiswick, one or the other. And the average speed was 23 miles an hour in a 25 miles an hour zone. But people do feel that people do speed. So if there's any particular streets, given the resources we have, if there's something chronic that you think could be a problem, perhaps we can do a traffic study to validate that. Otherwise, it could be hearsay, people's impression, understandably, but it is the #1 complaint in the city. But I'd be happy to find out those costs for you. But if there's any particular ones to the available of resources, the police department can check out for you.
Oh, Council President, I don't know if I can, this is out of the context, I can ask another question. It's not there, it's okay?
Sure.
Okay. When you need, for example, a stop sign, is that, you know, the cost for a stop sign? So I would like to have that too, because we keep having those coming also for a stop sign. Okay.
I forgot the number. Sorry, I would.
Okay, so I would like to have that. And also, this is for, I was asking, so whenever you have a request for its stop sign, so I just send it to you, I don't need to do any.
A replacement of a stop sign that's existing or a new?
New.
That would be ordinance.
It should be an ordinance.
Yes.
That's what I do. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, council member. I believe that concludes council member communications. Moving on to council business matters carryover. I see none. Roman numeral 12, we have introduction of new matters before the council. The following matters are being referred to public hearings to the appropriate subcommittee of the council. They are listed here for referral and vote to a committee and for informational purposes. I will entertain a motion to send all the new business to the proper committee.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please take the roll. All
Can you do it?
right, so. All right, I will take the roll. We'll go right down the line. Councilmember Donegan? Councilmember Renzulli?
Yes.
Councilmember Jermaine?
Yes.
Councilmember Campo Piano?
Yes.
Councilmember Marino?
Yes.
Councilmember Riley?
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas?
Yes.
Council Vice President Ferry?
Yes.
And I am a yes. Who made the motion to send the new business?
I made the motion and Councilman Riley seconded it.
Okay, thank you very much. So the following matters are being referred to the proper committee. Thank you. Then the city council's next regular monthly meeting will be held on September 26, 2022. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? No opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you all. Have a good night.